Okay, so hello and welcome to today's session. In today's session, we will be doing one past exam question again. And this past exam question refers to December 2022 attempt. Sorry, September 2022 attempt. And this question is question number 3 called FELINHEN Company. So I will be firstly discussing this question with you. And once this question is discussed, then we will be moving towards the solution. Okay. The following exhibits available on the left side provide information relevant. Let's start. Okay. So it's a very detailed exhibit, and we need to read this first carefully. FELINHEN Company is a company which carried out agricultural and woodland management. FELINHEN also has wholly owned retail subsidiary Cownwood with the boards of 2 companies having the same directors. Cownwood also runs 2 businesses. The first business is Countryside Stores, which sell outdoor clothing and accessories. Second one is a woodcraft business. This sells furniture and other products made of wood. The wood is sourced from woodlands managed by FELINHEN Company. The wood is made into furniture and other products in craft centers and sold in woodcraft shops, both owned by Cownwood Company. Okay, now things have started to grow complicated from the second paragraph. Firstly, look at the paragraph number 1. FELINHEN is a company which carried out agricultural and woodland management. Okay, so FELINHEN is the main company. It carried out agriculture and woodland. FELINHEN has a subsidiary, Cownwood. Okay. FELINHEN is a company doing 2 businesses, and it has a subsidiary, Cownwood. Cownwood also runs 2 businesses. Cownwood also has 2 businesses. The first business is Countryside Stores, which sells outdoor clothing and accessories. Second one is Woodcraft business. Cownwood has 2 businesses, outdoor clothing and woodcraft. The Woodcraft business sells furniture and other products made of wood. The wood is sourced from woodlands managed by FELINHEN. Now, it is a case of subsidiary buying from the parent. Wood is sourced from woodland, and it is managed by FELINHEN. The wood is made into furniture and other products in craft centers and sold in woodcraft shops, both owned by Cownwood. So furniture is sold in craft centers, sold in woodcraft shops. They are also both owned by Cownwood. So FELINHEN is agriculture and woodland. It has a subsidiary. It has 2 businesses, clothing and woodcraft. For woodcraft, it sells furniture, and the wood it needs is sourced from woodland, FELINHEN. The craft centers are staffed by skilled craftsmen assisted by apprentices. There are some online sales of the products sold in the Countryside stores, but woodcraft products are not currently sold online. Okay, so online sales are there in Countryside shops, but woodcraft products are not sold online because there are 2 businesses of Cownwood. One is Countryside Stores. It is making out online sales, but Woodcraft is not online. The FELINHEN group will have to make significant investment expenditure over the next few years. FELINHEN, the parent, wants to make significant investment expenditure over the next few years. Profits from the Woodcraft business have declined in recent years, and in the year just ended, the Woodcraft business made its first operating loss. So Woodcraft business is going in loss. FELINHEN board believes that without additional investment, there is significant risk that the Woodcraft business will continue to make losses over the next few years, as the board also wants FELINHEN Group to have greater focus on its core activity of agriculture and woodland management. It initially decided to close all the woodcraft shops and craft centers. So FELINHEN has a subsidiary, Cownwood, which has 2 businesses, outdoor clothing and woodcraft. So it is thinking that woodcraft needs significant investment, gave loss, so we should close. However, the proposals have faced significant opposition due to loss of jobs and adverse media coverage. A group of shop employees backed by a couple of wealthy business angels and a crowdfunding campaign have offered to buy the Woodcraft business. The consideration offered based on recent year results and the funding available is $3 million. So this proposal that we are closing the Woodcraft shop and craft centers has faced opposition, obviously loss of jobs, media coverage. Group of employees who are backed by business angels in a crowdfunding campaign, they have offered to buy the Woodcraft business. The consideration offered is $3 million. FELINHEN board has asked the group's finance director to consider 3 valuations which relate to the 3 projected scenarios and are based on. So board has asked the group's finance director to consider 3 valuations of 3 projected scenarios, which are based on: number 1, net proceeds from closing all the craft centers and woodcraft shops and selling their assets individually. So first is based on valuation that net proceeds from closing all the craft centers and woodcraft shops and selling their assets individually. Second, expected free cash flows if the craft centers were kept open, the woodcraft shops closed, and the products made in the craft centers were sold in countryside stores and online. So second possible valuation and scenario is that free cash flows if craft centers were kept open. Okay. And woodcraft shops were closed, craft centers open, and woodcraft shops closed. So craft centers was, remember, making furniture. So furniture will be sold in countryside stores and online. And third, expected free cash flows if the craft centers and woodcraft shops stayed open and necessary investment was made in them. This scenario will provide a comparison to the offer made by the buyout group. Investing in craft centers and woodcraft shops is not an option which FELINHEN's board is currently considering. Okay, investment is not being considered. Second exhibit, financial data. So the financial data first scenario, that close all craft centers and woodcraft shops and sell their assets individually. So the first scenario was close all the craft centers and woodcraft shops and sell their assets individually. The recent financial position of Cownwood: non-current assets, current assets, total assets, equity liability, share capital, retained funds, current liabilities, total equity liabilities. The net assets of the woodcraft business can be assumed to be 60% of Cownwood's total net assets. So Cownwood, remember, had 2 businesses. One is countryside clothing, and second is woodcraft, which has 2 areas, craft centers and woodcraft shops. So net assets of woodcraft business is 60%. Realizable value of woodcraft shops and craft centers can be assumed to be 75%. So NRV is 75%. And woodcraft's business net assets taking into account the cost of closure. Okay. Second scenario was close the woodcraft shops, keep the craft centers open. Now Cownwood's wood business has 2 areas, craft centers making furniture and woodcraft shops selling the furniture. So the second proposal was close the woodcraft shops and keep the craft centers open. So craft centers will make furniture. There are no woodcraft shops. They will be sold online or to that countryside stores. Assume that there will be an immediate net cash inflow of 800,000, taking account of asset sale, shop closure cost, necessary investment. Obviously, if you sell the products made in the craft centers online and close the woodcraft shop, so you get some money when you close the woodcraft shop, selling and assets and stuff. 800,000 will be inflow. Forecast figures would be after tax profits and additional investment for 5 years. Assume that additional investment for each year is equal to depreciation. So TAD is equal to the additional investment. From year 6 onwards, after tax profits of additional investment would be expected to be same amount as in year 5 for foreseeable future. So from year 6 onwards, it would be same as year 5, and cost of capital is 12%. Okay. And the third scenario, keep the craft center and woodcraft shops open and make the necessary investment. So the third option was keeping the craft centers and woodcraft shops open, make necessary investment. Assume there would be an immediate investment of 600,000. Forecast figures of 3 years, the after tax profits, depreciation, additional investment. From year 4 onwards, the growth rate of free cash flows will be 3% for the foreseeable future. Assume a cost of capital of 12%. Okay. First requirement is a calculation requirement of 9 marks. Calculate the valuation of the woodcraft business in 3 projected scenarios. So we need to find value in all 3 projected scenarios. Okay, so there are three scenarios. We need to find value under these three scenarios. Now, I'm just firstly trying to catch up the scenario that it's a FELINHEN company. So when you talk about this FELINHEN company, it carries out number one, agriculture, and it carries out number two, woodland management. So FELINHEN carries out agriculture and woodland management. FELINHEN also has a wholly owned subsidiary, Cownwood. So FELINHEN has a subsidiary, Cownwood company. Okay, just trying to catch up with the scenario. So Cownwood has two businesses. Cownwood number one does what? Countryside stores. Second is Woodcraft. Okay, this sells furniture and other products made of wood. So this is selling furniture and other products made of wood. Wood is sourced from woodlands. Wood is made into furniture and other products in craft centers and sold in woodcraft shops. So this woodcraft business is that so woodcraft business has two areas: made in craft centers and sold in woodcraft shops. So this is basically the structure of the organization, right? So craft centers, which is making the furniture, have skilled craftsmen. There are some online sales in the countryside stores. Woodcraft products are not sold online. FELINHEN Group will have to make a major investment in their business. Profits from woodcraft business. This business profits is declining. Okay, this business profit, woodcraft business is declining. Okay, going in loss. FELINHEN both believe that without additional investment, there is significant risk that woodcraft business will continue to make losses. Also, both wants FELINHEN to have greater focus on its core activity. It initially decided to close all the woodcraft shops and craft centers. So it is deciding to sell woodcraft shops as well as craft centers. This both. They are planning to sell both. Okay. They are planning to sell this both craft centers and woodcraft shops. Okay. Now, FELINHEN boards as other group. Sorry. However, the proposal has faced significant opposition due to loss of jobs, adverse media coverage. A group of shop employees backed by business angels and crowdfunding have offered to buy the woodcraft business. You are planning to get rid of a business angel, and some employees are planning a woodcraft business buyout. They are offering 3 million. FELINHEN board has asked the group's finance director to consider three valuations. Now, finance director has been asked to consider three valuations. Number one, net proceeds from closing all the craft centers and woodcraft shops and selling their assets individually. This is the first scenario. Okay. What are they thinking in scenario one? Net proceeds from closing all craft centers and woodcraft shops, closing both craft centers as well as woodcraft shops and selling their assets individually. This is the scenario one. Okay. Scenario 2. Craft centers kept open and woodcraft shops closed. First was closing both. Second scenario was craft centers kept open. This one where makes furniture and woodcraft shops sold. So where will the furniture be sold? It's saying we will sell them online or through the countryside shops. Okay. And scenario number 3 is craft centers and woodcraft shops stayed open and necessary investment was made in them. Okay, so these are the 3 possible scenarios. Selling both, selling one, and keeping both open. What is the valuation? Scenario 1, closing both, has a financial statement. So non-current assets, current assets, total assets, equity, liability, share capital. Net assets of woodcraft business. Woodcraft business means craft shops and woodcraft stores, craft centers and woodcraft stores. The net assets of this business is 60% of Conwood's total assets because Conwood also has another business area that is countryside shops. Realizable value of craft centers and the woodcraft shops is 75%. Okay. Now, if you close the woodcraft shops and keep the craft centers open, net cash inflow of 800,000, 5-year after-tax profits, additional investment, and additional investment is equal to TAD. And from year 6 onwards, the after-tax profits and additional investment would be the same amount as in year 5 for the foreseeable future, tax cost of capital of 12%. And third, keeping both open, investing 600,000, the after-tax profits and depreciation and stuff is given. And from year 4 onwards, the growth rate of free cash will be 3%. Now we are moving towards requirement 1, that is calculate the valuation of woodcraft business in the 3 projected scenarios. Okay, what would be the valuation in the 3 projected scenarios? Let's start first in valuation in scenario number 1. Okay, now I need to find valuation of the business in 3 projected scenarios. I have already written scenario 1, that is valuation is net proceeds from closing all craft centers on craft. We sell all and sell their assets individually. Okay. Now, what is the valuation in scenario 1? Now, scenario 1 states if you close all the craft centers and craft shops and sell their assets individually, this is Conwood. Conwood's balance sheet is given. Remember, Conwood has 2 businesses: the countryside shops, which sells outdoor clothing, and the wood business, which has this craft center and woodcraft shops. So you are just closing this business, selling this business. Okay, selling their assets individually, not of that one, the countryside business, only of the wood business, that is craft centers and crops. So this is Conwood's position. Now that's why it is saying that net assets means current assets less current liabilities. Sorry, total assets less current liabilities. Okay, net assets means total assets less current liabilities. Of this woodcraft business is only 60% of Conwood's total net assets. That means the remaining assets are of that countryside business. So net assets are only 60%. So we will take 60% share. And you are selling them individually, closing. So, when you shut this business down, it gets sold on NRV. So realizable value of this craft shops and craft centers only 75% of Woodcraft's business net assets. Okay. So if you want to find valuation in scenario number 1, okay, the net assets of Conwood, which has 2 business areas, okay, is the total assets. What are those total assets? 7570 less current liabilities, that is 970. Okay, so I will make it 7570 less 970 total assets, current liabilities. This is the net assets of Townwood. Why I'm finding net assets? Because it is given the share of net assets. Okay, Wood business share. Now Wood business share is just 60%. So we will take 0.6. Okay, and this is the wood business share. The other 40% are for the countryside business. So wood business, which has woodcraft and craft shops. Okay, and if you sell them and shut them down, the assets will be sold at net realizable value. So that is 75% of that wood business assets, that is 3960. So if you sell the business individually, your business value in that case is 2970. Okay. Valuation in scenario 2. You know what is scenario 2? Craft shops where it is sold is being closed, but craft centers where it's being made is kept open. So when it's made, it's kept open, where to be sold online and in countryside stores. This would create immediate cash inflow of 800,000 when you sell that wood craft shops of assets and stuff. So you get 800,000. Okay. And you get after tax profits, additional investment of each year is TAD. And from year 6 onwards, the additional investment after tax profits would be the same as in year 5. Okay, cost of capital 12%. So if you want to find valuation in this scenario, it seems you have to apply FCF method, because if it's profits, investment, and growth rate is given. So I think that suits the free cash flow method. Since cost of capital is given, I will apply FCF to company. Now, if you remember my FCF to company format, okay, so you are given after tax profits. So we'll start from after tax profits. So after tax profits means you have done till here. Okay, sorry, after tax profits means you have done it till here. Okay, because after that PAT comes, then add back TAD, investment in CACs, NC, and investment in working capital. Okay, so I will start from here. I will start from after tax profits, because that's what is given. PAT. For how many years it's given? 5 years. Okay, now PAT is 470, 494, 516. After PAT, I will write PAT. The format states add back TAD. Then less investment in NCA, and then investment in working capital. You get FCF2 company. You apply the discount factor. You get present value. Okay. And you add them all to get total present value of FCF, that is the value of company. Okay. Now, why did I start from here? Because after-tax profits were given. After-tax profits means you have done till here. You just need to add TAD, then investment in C, investment working capital, you get FCF. So let's start with PAT now. The PAT figures are 470, then 494, then 516, 536, 558. Okay. Then you need to add back TAD. So if I add back TAD, depreciation, what is that? Depreciation is same as additional investment. So 100, 120, 135. 100, 120, 135. 20, 135. Okay. 145, 150. 150. Okay. Investment in NCA, that's same as TAD. So it's negative 100, negative 120, negative 135, negative 145, negative 150. Okay. You could have ignored both of them because we have done this thing in the classes when two things are same, TAD and NCA, TAD working capital, we avoid both. Okay. Working capital is not given. Okay. So you will get FCF to company and what it is stating after year 6. From year 6 onwards, that's 5 to infinity. After tax profits, additional investment will be same as year 5. Okay, so from 5 to infinity. The PAT is same. That means zero growth. This is also same, additional investment, which is equal to TAD, and working capital is not there. That means there is no growth. Okay, you net them all. You get FCF to company. I-19. I will drag them. FCF to company. Discount factor WACC is 12%, 0.893, 0.797, 0.712, 0.636, 0.567. And remember, for 5 to infinity, we take the last discount factor, 0.567 upon WACC minus G. WACC is 0.12 minus there is no G. Growth is 0% because from year 5 onwards, it's same as year 5 level. So it's no growth. Okay. You get present value as I-23 into I-24. Okay. You add them all. Total present value of all future FCF is I-25 to N-25. 4474. This value of all future FCF, present value of all future FCF is the value of the company 4474. And I will that as per scenario 2, this is the value. But I forgot one thing, that in scenario 2, there was an additional income of 800 as well. Additional cash flow, because when you are keeping craft centers open, Woodcraft shop shows it is saying that we get 800 as well. So you add 800, the value will be in scenario 2 4474 plus 800 5274. You can note these. So I found the value in scenario 1 as well as in scenario 2. That scenario 1 was shutting down both. Now scenario 2, keeping one open, one closed, you get 800, and the cash flows FCF was given, so you found valuation through FCF method. Okay.
इसमें जो है 1 2 3 का योग मतलब 2 लेक्चर लगेंगे 3 करके 4 लेना और ऊपर से 1 बराबर 3 तो दूसरा वाला वो रिमूव किया है या इन लोगों की मिस्टेक है?
मेरे पास इसका वो okay, now there is valuation under scenario 3. And scenario 3 was keep all open, make investment. Investment is 600,000. And again, the after-tax profits, depreciation, investment is given. And from year 3 onwards, the growth rate of FCF would be 3% for the foreseeable future. Cost of capital 12%. So again, it seems we need to find value using FCF method. And since after-tax profits are given, so we will start from here. This is a scenario for 3 years, so I will only go till 1, 2, 3. And then it's 4 to infinity. So PAT in this scenario is 380, 420, 440. 420 and 440. Add back TAD 170, 190, 200. Less investment in NCA 300, 250, 210. Okay, no investment in working capital. So you net them all, you get FCF2 company. I31 to I34 and drag it. From 4 onwards, it's growing by 3%, right? For the foreseeable future means till infinity. Discount factor 12%, 0.897, 712, sorry, 0.893, 0.797, 0.712. And for infinity, it's the last discount factor over WACC minus G. WACC is 0.12 here and growth is 3% here. Okay. Present value is I35, I36. And total present value of all future FCF. Sum of I37 to L37. 4320. Okay. But for this, you need an investment of 600 as well. So 4320 minus 600, 3720 will be value under this method. So I've earned 9 marks. I've got the value under 3 methods. Okay, you can copy. If you have any questions, you can ask, then we will move forward. रख दो रख दो Okay, now let's do the part B now. Based on part A, discuss the possible actions FELINHEN board could take regarding the Woodcraft business. Now, based on part A, we have three values in part A, right? Three possible scenarios in part A. So based on part A, discuss the possible courses of action FELINHEN board should take and discuss other possible courses of action that FELINHEN boards may consider and recommend what course of action should be. There are 11 marks for these three. That ends the question, and professional marks will be awarded for demonstration skill of analysis in your answer for 5 marks. Okay, so you don't have to do anything extraordinary, just write the answer professionally. That's it. And I would also suggest you that once I end this, go and definitely read the examiner answer. He is nothing doing extra for professional marks, just writing a proper answer, and that's it. So based on part A, I will do it separately. What course of action FELINHEN should take? So I will discuss all three options separately. Okay. Now, if you talk about what action board should take, okay, the first option. I'm not writing the complete descriptive answer, just writing the points. So, first option has the lowest value, which makes it unattractive over other two. But this realizes immediate cash. You know, company needs cash to invest in its core area as well. So this option, that's selling business immediately, will provide immediate cash, help them in investment, and free top management from two burdens. And now they can focus only on their core area. Okay. So I'm not saying that this is just the two lines which you should write, but I have mentioned 3 or 4 points in this particular, which you can use to elaborate. That you can write this option as unattractive than other two, but it produces immediate cash, helps you to do investment, and top management can focus on their core area because this would be gone. Okay. But I've just mentioned its advantages. Since I'm in discussion and I want professional skills as well, I can write the other side as well. But this option is dangerous for reputation, as already mentioned, bad media coverage, loss of jobs, etc. So would be difficult. Okay. Option 2, you can write this as well, is offering highest value. So seems most attractive. Okay. The business also faces reduced reputation risk than first one. How? You can elaborate. Because in first one, you're shutting down the complete business. Now you're keeping one open, one closed, so reputation risk, loss of jobs would be minimized. Okay. Mentioning professional skills, skepticism, acumen, questioning mind. However, this relies on future estimation of profits next 5 years, which may be uncertain. Also, it believes things will continue till perpetuity, which is again questionable. Here I'm mentioning skepticism. Now I'm doing analysis properly. The Woodcraft shops closure means goods will be sold online and through countryside shops. Online sales first time may be difficult and may result in investment in digital website or shopping place, etc. Plus, company has not considered additional logistics cost. What is this? This is what professional skills I'm creating analysis. You see that the craft centers make furniture and you sell it via woodcraft shops. Now you are saying we will sell it online. Okay, fine. And through countryside shops. So the furniture has to be made from craft centers and go to countryside shops. So where is the logistics, transportation, fuel cost, driver cost, vans cost? So this is, you don't have to do anything extra. You just have to run your mind on possibilities and you get the answer. Okay. Do read the examiner answer for this. It's a very good answer. Okay, now in option 3 also, it's offering 3720. You can write it's a good offer compared to the first one. But you don't have immediate cash in that. Okay. In fact, you need to invest more. Okay, there is no immediate cash. Instead, you need to invest more in this. Remember that 600,000 investment. Okay, where will the funds come from? There is a question. However, this will avoid reputation risk because you are now continuing the business. So there is no loss of jobs, no adverse media comment. And whether company goes for it or not, it's questionable. But if the board has decided to shift towards the core area, then this option may not be considered. Okay. So discuss the possible course of action board could take. Okay. So I discussed all the possible courses of action. Discuss other possible courses of action that Felon's board may consider. Now, what other options Felon boards will consider? Now you discussed all three. Now discuss other possible courses of action Felon boards may consider. Now you can write here 4 points that other possible courses of action apart from these three which is considered. I saw one thing in the question that all these things are being just because the profitability was declining and for the first year the wood business made loss. So that means the board is taking decisions too prematurely. It's just a 1-year loss and you are thinking to shut down and stuff like that. So one action they could consider is that try to run this business for 1 more year. Okay. If it gives profits, then it's fine. If it still gives loss, then you could take this decision. So I think one action which they should consider is try to run business for 1 more year. Okay. Secondly, rather than shutting the whole craft shops in business, they should see which are good performing and which are bad performing. They can only then shut down the bad performing shops. You see, when you have a whole company, a chain of stores, not all perform badly. If you close all, you even lose the good performing ones. So the ones who are significantly poorly performing, you can close them rather than closing the whole business. Okay. And thirdly, you may hire a specialized team, outsource. This can also be an action to run that business if you want to focus on your core things. So you can discuss 3 possible courses of action. 1 year later, loss-making shops only, not the full one, or trying to outsource them. Finally, recommendation which should be taken. Now you need to conclude recommendations. So if you see, if you sell the business immediately, it gives 2970 value. If you continue, it gives 3720. And if you just shut it down partially, it gives 5274. But these figures rely on perpetuity cash flows, which may be uncertain, and they are coming after 5 years, 6 years, they may be uncertain. Okay. So in my opinion, you can disagree and you can write your own, that it is better to sell to that buyout division, that venture capital, for 3 million, because that is close to this 2970, your first option, and this 3720, or you can negotiate with them to increase slightly further. Okay. That option I seem to be, in my opinion, is the best one, because that avoids complete loss of reputation risk, because you are selling, not closing down. So no job loss, no media adverse comment would be. So recommendation would be that. Okay. I always request you to please read the examiner answer. You will always get an idea that how did he mention the answer, so that the thing goes out of your mind that professional marks are something very high or very low. Okay. Take care. We will end this class now. Thank you.